Welcome back, my gardening friends. Well, let's do a little tour on Father's Day, and it's actually early morning on Father's Day, so hopefully this will get uploaded and you'll be able to see it on the day, and we'll just have a little look round. So this is my volunteer asparagus. That's where we've got all the asparagus from on plot 3, which we'll look at shortly, and this will be coming out at the end of the season, and we'll see if we can salvage the crown. If not, it's given us enough babies to reproduce, so it's done its job in life. And you can see there the seed heads started to form. The real hot weather we had on the 17th, and then the absolute downpour on the 18th. Cold, wet, and I was right, hat, scarf and gloves weather when we went out, because there's no point being in the house while it was raining. And no doubt some of these strawberries now will go rotten, like these that we pulled off the other day. What has benefited is the leaf mould. I've covered it all up now after depositing all that fish poo from home, from the pond filters, onto it, and any urine and compost runoff. So we'll get that covered up now, because if we do get some dry warm weather, we don't want it to evaporate. We want those leaves to break down. Hashtag living green compost trials. There's the rocket that we planted in the seed compost. It just started to show there, but I think the blackbirds have been in and pecked some off. Nothing showing on the peat free. And the homemade rocket just in the middle of the screen there, is coming through. And of course, homemade compost. The living green say that you shouldn't get any weeds. We start getting the weeds there, and then look at the tomatoes we've got in the rest. So the compost passes, living green compost passes on the seed-free side of it, even though it is a living compost. This is the living green seed compost challenge. So we've got some of the butter crunch in the in that one, Paris Island in that one, butter crunch in that one. So you can see Paris Island, and then the seed compost. Which, no, that's not the peat free. Peat free. So these two here are the seed compost, and as you can see, it does exactly what it says on the tin, and we've got some showing there. So the seeds do like the actual seed compost. These are the ones that we planted at home a while back, the Paris Island and the butter crunch in just ordinary compost. Then we took some of those and we did a little trial with these. So there's the seed compost for the Paris Island and butter crunch. Paris Island seed and salad, and the butter crunch seed and salad and veg. Come on, get a grip, it is Sunday morning. And then we've got the peat free there. So you can see they say that the one in the middle, the salad and veg compost, it does what it says on the tin, or should we say in the bag. Need to take those home, get them potted up into some of the salad and veg compost, because we know that's going to be the best one for my seedlings. Digwell Greenfingers single seed challenge, Steve. They're the potatoes there, and even though we've had heavy rain, I shall still water these tonight. Now the real hot weather has gone. The comfrey has been cut down now. That one's growing nicely, ready for the bees. We've topped up the comfrey pipe, and you can see there now we're getting a lot of progress on that. And then we did an experiment with my wheelie bin. We've done all sorts of things with this, and not sure whether you can see, but Yeah, just there. We've just started to get a little trickle, and the trouble is that pipe in there is a lot higher in there, so actually it's got to build up before it actually passes its juices. But it has been challenging keeping these full. I've not seen much of the June drop, so I will be assisting some of these fruits on my allotments by cutting out some of the weaker. The sweet corn there was grown in plastic cell trays in separate pots, and they're doing really well. They're the Country Gentleman, and then the hashtag Sunflower High Challenge, and I believe we've got one that's on the end there that's just throwing a head out, and hopefully this warmth and rain will do these some good. The Wildfire Gardens full of weeds as well as flowers. The sweet peas are doing wonderful, and the wildlife is enjoying what we've got in around the growing spaces. As you see, I dug some out there, and I've left a little row there of things just for the insects, etc. These strawberries were weed free a few days ago. We had a nice spell, a drop of rain, and then that massive heat, and then the rain yesterday, and the weeds have actually took off again. And it's been a bit of a battle, but the weeds do pull out nice and easily. So for the show, I've cut down all but one crown or two crowns at the end. There's some massive sticks in there. I'm pretty sure they won't last till the end of September, but just in case, I've left those in, and the rest now are enjoying it, and we'll give them a good liquid feed. Later on today, I'm going to feed the raspberries and blackberries with some liquid nitrogen, either manure or nettle plant foods, and most of the condors are doing really well, especially in the big containers. Let's hope we can get a really big potato to take to Malvern. And I'm going to have to give these summer pruning. We're only allowed fruit trees at 6 foot high, so I shall have to get my cane out and get these trimmed up before I get a little letter. As you can see there, that one isn't doing as well, and that's what you call the June drop. Again, a week ago this was weed free. Just unbelievable how quickly the weeds grow. And in here we've had the best strawberries, and the rain, even through the cage, has knocked those Aztec broccoli about. Looks like a weed to me, but anyway. Giant cabbage, I don't know whether we'll get a giant cabbage out of this. It's a volunteer, it's now had no special treatment, and even my red cabbage that should be going to seed, it's growing a head on it. Now if we go down here, I don't know whether you'll be able to see or not, but actually this is my second place winner at Malvern. I cut it off, I left the stalk in, and then you expect then this year for it to grow and then go to seed. But what a bonus if I get a cabbage off that. Bar gum, it'll need some support because it's way off the ground. Maybe the weeds will hold it up. So we'll leave plot 1 and we'll take a stroll up to plot 3. Weeds can be an issue, especially when they blow from another plot. So short distance to plot 3. Again, the weeds do come thick and fast, and they don't take much pulling out. It's just having the time. But those there, as soon as they get a chance, they'll be throwing seeds everywhere, and then I'll have another 7 years of those to tackle. But at the moment, the gap is there on this side. This side's closing up, but again, it's the rain that's completely bashed these down. So these green strops have certainly helped. I just need a little bit of time to get in here and get rid of some of the side growth, because we want the vertical growth. We're going vertical, especially with the gooseberries. So I should be removing all these side shoots and training up these to go uphill, and it's going to be a lot easier to harvest the crops. And the blueberries are looking good as well. Lots of green growth. Last year I used conifer as a mulch instead of ericaceous compost, and we didn't hardly get a crop. This year, totally different. Well worth spending some money when you have to. The fruit cage itself keeps all those pesky blackbirds and birds out, and then the lock keeps those two-legged thieves out, hopefully. Again, so pleased with the square foot gardening. The spring onions, salad onions, they're growing nicely. The first time I've really been able to grow any spring onions properly. This is the super soil bed. So there's that one. We'll try and get the same angle with that one, and it's a lot different. But pleased with the square foot gardening beds, and I will be using more super soil on my beds in the future. There's the asparagus from the seed from that volunteer. All the crowns are doing well, so there's no need to save it, but it's done well for me, so if I can save it I will. Need to do some more harvests on the perennial kale. Keep that going. That's the 2 that I had sent to me by one of my viewers, and the peas have perked up even after 2 or 3 days after you last saw them. And the same with the sweet corn. This is incredible, but next time I won't plant them in cardboard rolls. And we need a little weed, but again, homemade compost, look. But it's well worth picking a few weeds than paying out such a lot of money for compost. All the beetroot have come out here, it's all been pickled. I've had a good weed, but some of these are just sitting a bit flat and looking a bit rough. Whilst I was weeding, this one dropped out. No signs of any rot other than around the edge. That'll peel off like that one there. So I've been taking some of it off. It's wet, gooey, it'll send the rest rotten. So I've been pulling a little bit off. There's a catch crop of lettuce where we had one of these onions fail, and these are the banana shallots, long red Florence and Zabroon. I'm not sure whether I've got some of these mixed up, but never mind, an onion's an onion. We can take the labels there for these. And we did plant a few extra onions here. Herald F1. Let's just lift the camera up a bit. I'm not sure whether it's catching the holder, but again, looking really nice and healthy. I prefer to grow shallots than ordinary onions. The sprouts are looking a lot more healthier. The aphid damage, it seems to have grown out of it. They've done their business and gone. So we've got some Red Bull there, and some Crispus F1, and some Brody F1 sprouts. So lots of sprouts, different colours. Let's hope these stay clean and healthy. Excuse me for not taking the net off, but I'm not letting the rats or all the other bugs that get my carrots There's the second sowing. I need desperately now to sow the rest so that I get a good lot of carrots this time, and these will all be sweet candle. These are the Stenna giant long beans for the show, and I've done it in this way so that when the beans hang I can actually physically see them, and will reduce nearer the show date. I'm down to 1 per plant, and hopefully they'll keep growing. These are the ones from Dan Ethan, the Grapevine Allotment. He sent me some beans. They're the second sowing, and these are just Scarlet Liberty or whatever else I'd got. And I've said before, once they start climbing they go mad, but hopefully this weather will settle for them. And here's the 2 that I sowed, I think it was before Christmas, and it won't be long before they're going to give, but I do need to get in there to clear the weeds. And there's the seed pods from the cherry bell radish. Olivia picked those. We run out of seed, so I'm just going to save the seed pods. Should we just do an excuse me moment on one? I'm sure Olivia won't mind. But these are excellent addition to my lunchbox. Excuse me. Absolutely lovely taste, and thank you to Babette, who's in the garden, for telling me to do that. Catch crop before these peas go mad, and they're just coming on nicely. They'll be out, and some of the pongos from Bill and Val just started to form some flowers now, but I did notice on another bed, I'll show you shortly, the black fly got to them, and I've just given them a good wash. So we've got a second sowing of beetroot round here, plus the weeds. I just can't help myself, I have to pull them out while I'm here, because it doesn't take them long to get those seed heads on. Again, there's another volunteer asparagus. It's way down in there. It keeps coming back, so hopefully one year it will. We've got some kale there, and some red cabbage, and this is again my beds. These beds are new. If you want to see how I built the new beds, I'll pop that in the end screen. But you know, I've never had heads of calabrese like this. So that's the red cabbage. Hang on, that's the Iron Man this side. Green Magic. So this is the Iron Man. And literally they've all got decent heads, and in there we've got some more Herald onions, bless them. And these are some of the potatoes that we took out of the permanent potato bed. More radish, giving the lettuce a bit more room so they can mature. We'll take them as whole lettuce. Golden gourmet shallots going to seed. These are the bunyards, and as I keep seeing, the black fly, yeah, there it goes. We might end up with some broad beans. Shallots from here have been now, well, they're drying, shall we say, not pickled yet. My long roots are very slow on getting going. The weather hasn't helped at all, and on the longest day I'll be planting the last of the long white icicle radish. Peas, and more peas. These are the coloured red ones. I'll take a harvest of those today, and a catch crop of spring onions, salad onions, growing well there. Found a space, chuck them in. And we've got some radishes here that are going to seed, so we can have them for the pods or the seed itself. These are the icicle long white. My wife said, can you bring some radishes? How many? 20. I think I'll just take a few. And in a previous video I showed you the courgette just started to produce. I'll let that one get a little bit bigger. Shan't be harvesting that one. And to start the harvest off, we'll take a few of the broad beans, filled beans. These are the green manure that we've left gutter seed. So let's get the basket filled. So I've got a nice little harvest there. Some lettuce that was just started to go to seed. We've cleared that out. We've got one of the calabrese and some of the long radishes, the beans, etc. No doubt I'll collect something a bit later. A lot of people do say, how do you eat all that food? Well, family gets some, and you make loads and loads of friends at work when you take some to work. But remember, you're not allowed to sell anything that you grow on allotments. It's against the law. So we always do little swapsies. Happy gardening to you all. Till next time, my friends. Ta-ra for now. First carrot, excuse me.